Hello, dear viewer. Give us a like if our creativity excites you, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the exciting stories we have in store for you. Your support in the form of likes inspires us to new creative solutions, and your subscription contributes to our development. You make us better. Little Sins. Chapter 2. An old boyfriend. I wasn't even 30 yet. How much for a little gift? I asked, once again surprising myself. $20 for a quick night out. If you want a really good, long-lasting leg curler, take me somewhere and I'll blow your mind for $1.50. I almost laughed, which would have been cruel. I doubt you'll blow my mind. My wife makes the best little gifts in the Northern Hemisphere. Then why do you ask? She reached over to the center console and turned on the heater, casting a quick questioning look at me, as if wanting to make sure everything was okay. I pointed the center vent in her direction. She didn't seem to mind that we were driving further north to the suburbs, away from the hustle and bustle of downtown. My dear wife has suddenly decided that a small gift is not cheating, and it's okay if she gives it to someone other than her husband. My young companion grinned. Then today is your lucky day. I'm going to give you the best non-gift you've ever had. If you want to spend the night, I'm going to give you so much non-gift that you'll be begging for a break. And all for the one-time bargain price of $200. Fuck. I liked her. She was funny and confident, and even pretty if you ignored her dirty, lecherous appearance. I thought you said $50? That's a little scary. You went from $20 to $50, and now $200. She pouted. The escort will cost you 10 times as much, and won't be even half as good. I promise you that. Money wasn't a big problem. Hell, Wendy spent $200 on a hairdresser every other week. Her upkeep was costly, though I never had a problem with it. We could afford it, and she was worth every penny. I emphasize worth it. My street pickup was still watching me, and I heard her stomach rumble. She looked confused. Hungry? I asked. I'll be fine. Do we have a deal? I'll spend the whole night for $150. How about that? She reached out and put her hand on my thigh, rubbing it. I guess she was trying to be pleasant. But it seemed like a stretch. I put my hand on hers, squeezing it lightly. Don't ever lower the price, sweetheart. You've done everything right. I believe that $200 will be well spent, if not better spent. You want to make a bet on that? I'll do it for $100. If it's the best thing you've ever had in your life, you'll pay me as much as you think it's worth. If not, I get a C. You take me back and get the deal of a lifetime. The idea that had been bubbling in the back of my mind came out, and I smiled. I pulled out my wallet and counted out a $100 bill and 5 20s. I handed it to her. Do you mind if we do something out of the ordinary? I asked. I could see how nervous she was. I don't do pain. I don't do rawness. Something unique is another $50 every time. No hitting. It's nothing like that, I promise. Just a little present, but that's not all. I explained my idea, and she looked confused at first, then started smiling. What's your name? She asked sharply. Call me John. No, really. It's my turn to show my ID. John. She laughed. Strange night, John. You're telling me. I left the house to cool off, get some work done, have a quiet dinner, and now I've got a cute little streetwalker sitting in my car who's about to blow my mind. This is not how I envisioned this day. You seem like a good guy, John. That's cool for a change. It's really nice that you still want to patch things up with your wife. Why didn't you just kick her to the curb? What's your name? I asked. Kelly. Amethyst if you need a working name, but you've already seen my license. Okay, Kelly. I love my wife. I love my 3-month-old daughter more than life. I don't want to lose them. She's lucky. And bloody stupid if I may say so. Good-looking man, good job. Apparently kind, generous, and in love. Hell, she doesn't deserve you. We passed Rock Creek Park and I turned onto the east-west highway to head home. Do you agree with my plan? I asked. Better than good. I'll do whatever you need me to do. Just let me know. Do you want to tell me how come you're not in school or on the streets? I asked quietly. She was quietly looking out the window. In profile, she looked a little older, a little tired. Bad luck and foolish choices. I can call your wife stupid because I know it well. I made some mistakes and now I'm paying for them. I'm a good listener. She turned to me. I'll bet it is. It's not a fun story, John. For the moment, let's just pretend we're two people who like each other and are going to have a good time. A really good time. I don't want to think about the past, and I don't have anything to look forward to. Let's live in the present moment. She tucked her legs under her, her $10 heels digging into my leather seats. I didn't say anything about it. You said she's great at making little gifts. Tell me why she's good. I pulled off the highway and turned onto the side streets of my neighborhood. She loves doing this, loves everything about it, loves the feel and the flavor. Any flavor, I should say, though I didn't know that until today. How does she like it? Asked Kelly. It's not about her being the best, technically. It's about how she does it. The way she looks at me. The feeling in her. Everything she does tells me how much she enjoys it with a goofy grin on her face. If she holds it forever, I don't think you'll be able to hit combos with her, she said. No. Morning, afternoon, and night. Whatever I want, one at a time. Kelly laughed. That's going to change today. She looked at me and laughed sweetly. You are a man, after all. You like the idea, don't you? I can see that part of it is that you like it. Nice, I'm sure I can handle it. I pulled into the driveway and saw that it was 3:30 and the lights were still on. This might be a little weird and awkward. Are you still okay with it? She nodded. Honestly, John, I'd do it for free if I didn't need the money so damn badly. I hope it works out. I pulled out my key, but the door wasn't locked. I opened it, and Wendy threw herself into my arms, hugging me and crying. Shh, I whispered, stroking her hair. God, John, I was so worried about you leaving me. I love you so much. We can put all of this behind us. I know we can. I pulled her hands away from me, kissed her lightly, and stepped through the door. Kelly followed 2 steps behind. I saw Wendy's shocked reaction. What? Who's that? She squeaked. Kelly stepped forward and wrapped her thin arms around my stunned wife. Hi, Wendy. You're even more beautiful than he said. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your home. She stepped back and looked around. It's so beautiful. Did you do it all yourself, or do you have a decorator? Wendy was in shock. She looked at the common street butterfly, then at me, then around her house. I was decorating. Wow, you have talent. You could do this for a living. Kelly walked around, touching the furniture, examining the walls. Is this an original? She asked, looking at the painting above the fireplace. It was my 2nd anniversary present to my wife. It cost a hell of a lot. Several $1,000s at a show for an emerging artist. It was her favorite piece. Kelly had a hell of an eye. That wasn't part of what I asked her to do. It's original. It was my 2nd anniversary present, Wendy said. Damn, girl. That's a hell of a gift. Someone must really love you. This guy is good. He fits in so well. Kelly walked around the living room and into the dining room, knelt down and picked up a corner of the 9x12 hand-knotted rug. It's not Turkish, is it? Tibetan? Wendy stood beside her and looked surprised. Yes. We went to Lhasa last year. I like traditional patterns much better than this modern nonsense. You have excellent taste. She stood up and smiled. Would you mind pointing me to the ladies' room? Wendy waved her hand toward the hallway. Kelly stepped toward her and gave her another hug, then kissed her cheek. We're going to have so much fun. Thank you. Shit. I was stunned, probably as much as my confused wife. Kelly earned every penny, and then some, and then some. I would definitely reward her for this weekend. Wendy followed me into the kitchen, and I pulled a dish out of the cabinet and started preparing a tray of appetizers. Nothing fancy, but I didn't want Kelly's stomach rumbling. What's going on, John? You've been gone all day, and then you bring this into my house? I finished the appetizers and pulled out a bottle of our best wine. Nothing too good for my new little gift giver. Talk to me, John. I want to know what you're doing, she snarled. Making a small tray of appetizers for our guest. Wouldn't want to be impolite. She's not our guest, and I don't think I want her in my house. She stood nearby and spoke softly but angrily. Our house, dear. Isn't she charming? She looks like a tramp. Don't be a pussycat and try to be polite, I said, handing her 3 glasses and carrying the tray of appetizers and bottle of wine into the living room. Damn it, John, tell me what's going on. Wendy whined, following me. Relax, Wendy. We'll take care of that, but in the meantime, have a drink. I was pouring wine when Kelly returned. I was more than surprised. She'd washed her face a little, brushed her hair, removed her makeup, and straightened her clothes. She washed her face beautifully and looked younger than ever. I hope you don't mind me peeking in a bit. You have a gorgeous house. The nursery is just adorable. How old is she? She turned to my wife. Kelly sat down next to me, took the canapé and sent it to her mouth, then took a sip of wine. She took off her shoes and settled on the couch next to me, while my wife was still standing there, trying to comprehend what was happening. She's 3 months old. Ginny's with her grandmother, Wendy said. It's a great wine. You didn't have to get a good one for me, she said, taking a sniff before taking another sip. I can't identify it. Napa? French. Chateau Montredon, said I. Very, very good. I've had a lot of Chilean wines and some small California vineyards, but this is excellent. Wendy must have felt weird standing there watching us snack, drink, and talk about wine. Finally, she took her glass, took a big sip, and sat down in the chair across from me. Kelly swallowed another canapé and nestled next to me, putting her hand on my shoulder and stroking me carelessly. I bet this wine is John's choice. Bold, strong. My latest favorite, I told her. Let me guess. Wendy, you're more into Pinot Noir, nothing flashy, sweet, smooth, bright flavors. No weak whites for you. Wendy nodded. Mostly. I'm not much for white and rosé, and Cabernet is too strong for my taste. Kelly opened her mouth as I, giggling, fed her another portion. Trying to fatten me up? She teased. She turned to Wendy again, leaning against me. Great flavor, I might add. In jewelry, in wine, and definitely in men. We're happily married, Wendy snapped back. John said. He loves you, and I can see that you love him. You are so lucky. Believe me, Wendy, I won't do anything to interfere with your happiness. You seem to have the perfect life here. I'm not the type to ruin it on a whim. I know what it's worth. What kind of man are you? Asked Wendy. Kelly smiled. I think you know what kind of person I am. John doesn't have to pay for nights out with the girls. He gets what he wants from me, and it's so much better than what he'll get from you, little one. She was almost shouting. Kelly only smiled. Wendy, honey, I wouldn't dream of an evening with a happily married man. There's no way I'd go for it, especially not here in your house. I wouldn't disrespect you like that, Kelly said. She snuggled up to me, running her hand over me and kissing my shoulder. I wrapped my arms around her and ran my hand down her side, feeling the smooth skin at her waist. The phone rang and Wendy looked at me. 2:00 in the morning. Who the hell could be calling? Just everyone we know, I thought. I shrugged, and she got up and went into the kitchen. Kelly grabbed another appetizer left over from the last two and shoved it into her mouth. Who the hell are you? I asked, helping her out. Just $1.20, road girl, she said sadly. I heard my wife talking on the phone. Yeah, Mom, he came home half an hour ago, and no, he wasn't drunk, but he had been drinking. Kelly stroked me. Shit, John. She's such a fucking idiot. Cheating on you when she can come home to this, she said. She looked around. All of it. You deserve better. I responded with nothing more than a sigh as she continued. I heard Wendy walking in our direction. No, things are definitely not okay. You wouldn't believe what... Oh my God! She shrieked when she saw Kelly and her pose. She threw the phone across the room and headed toward us. What the hell are you doing? We're not doing anything bad. It's not a big deal, is it? Just a little gift. How could you? She sobbed, standing only a few feet away from me. I stroked Kelly as she proved her point. Ask yourself the same question, I told her angrily. Now please be quiet. I haven't had a nice little present in almost a month, and I really like this one. Wendy ran out of the room crying, and I heard the bedroom door slam. I wondered if the phone lines would catch fire. Kelly pulled away from me for a second. You really like it? Jesus, Kelly, you didn't lie. You're amazing. She smiled and looked at me. Did everything work out as you had hoped? 1000% better. There's so much more to you than I thought. She grimaced for a moment. Let's not talk about that right now, okay? Let me finish with the first one, and then we can get down to the serious game. I haven't had an evening like this in days, and I've never gotten a nice little gift like hers in my life. She seemed to enjoy it as much as Wendy did, and she was very proud of her skill. Besides, she could do things that I didn't even realize I could do. I wondered sadly where a young girl, barely 18, could have learned such skills. Not 5 minutes later, I was already alerting her that I needed to end our interaction. I couldn't remember the last time I'd had to do that so quickly. You don't need to warn me, John. The deluxe overnight package includes all rights, but that's not exactly what your wife said either, is it? She said in a teasing voice. Some moments from this scene I had to cut out so that YouTube would not block me and delete this video. I remind you that the full version with such moments is on Patreon. She leaned against me, and I put my arms around her, stroking her back. I heard her purr in my ear. A few seconds later, she kissed me. I like it too. I like the feel of it. I like you. I'd like more. Are you going to keep playing with me tonight? Damn it, Kelly. That was wonderful. I've never had anything better. She chuckled. I told you. I'm the best. I pulled away from her and tried to kiss her. Unbelievable. I'll admit, some of my wives were just as good, just in a different way. Kelly laughed. Now you've done it. Threw down the gauntlet. I'll show you who's the best. Next time I won't let you finish the game unless you beg. I believed her. She slowly stood up, then sat down and finished the last of her appetizers, draining her glass of wine. That was very nice of you. I appreciate it, she said, raising a toast to me. She gave me a quick peck on the cheek, picked up her plate, and carried it into the kitchen. I walked over to get our broken phone. I put the battery back in and put the compartment cover on, but it wouldn't budge. The display said in use, but I didn't feel the need to listen to what was going on in there. True, I was getting a little curious about what was being said, and to whom. I picked up the wine glasses and found Kelly rummaging through the refrigerator. Hungry? She chuckled. A little snack to keep my energy up. It's going to be a long, long night. She chewed on a piece of cold chicken. I took a paper napkin and wiped the corner of her mouth. I'll make you a great breakfast. I promise. She grinned. I like bacon. Who doesn't? Pancakes or waffles? I asked, moving toward her, hugging her slender waist. Surprise me. I'm sure I won't be disappointed. She sipped her milk and filled her glass with wine. She took a long drink, and little white tendrils appeared on her upper lip. I couldn't resist reaching up to wipe them off, and then I licked my finger. Now what? She asked. Seconds, I teased, taking her hand and leading her toward the back of the house. The door to our bedroom was closed, but slightly ajar. Because of my reaction the night before, it had struggled to stay closed, and the socket was cracked open. I knocked and entered, bringing Kelly with me. Wendy was lying in bed, talking on the phone. She lifted her head and pulled the sheet up to cover herself. I have to go, she mumbled into the receiver. She raised her eyes to me, red and puffy. Are you done humiliating me yet? She asked angrily. I have no intention of humiliating you, baby. I love you, but I'm not done with the not gift yet. She wasn't looking at me, but at Kelly leaning against my back with my hand in hers. Please, John, I can give you what you need. You don't need to do this anymore. I've already told you I'm sorry. She looked so upset that she almost broke me. I only heard the words, but the images were still standing in my brain. A dream, man after man, lining up to take advantage of her. And she didn't mind. I decided to quiz her before taking the conversation any further. 5 times you cheated on me. 5 times with 3 different men. She shook her head. No, baby. Never. I didn't cheat, no matter what you say. They tried to touch me, but I stopped them. I told them it would be over if they tried again. I will never let them have anything that belongs to you. My body belongs to you, and only you. I swear it. Since we got married, I haven't let anyone but you. It didn't. She never realized. I understand. I would never cheat on you either. I took off my shirt. Why is she still here? Asked Wendy. I looked back and saw Kelly standing behind me. She's staying with us tonight. I'll take her home later, after we're done not cheating. Wendy rose angrily from the bed. Why are you being such a bastard? 5 times, 3 men. I was lying on the bed. "Please," she sobbed. "Don't. Remember when you suggested I watch you and Tom? I'd like you to watch us together." "No, I won't," she snarled. "Sit down," snarled I. "You'll sit down, or you'll leave and never come back." Tears rolled down her face, but she sat on the farthest corner of the bed, resting her face in her hands. I looked at Kelly. She smiled at me. "On or off?" she asked. "Can I trust you?" "You can trust me, but keep them on you anyway. I don't want there to be even a hint of inappropriate behavior." She pouted. Instead, she climbed onto the bed and settled down on it. "I hope you ate your wheat cereal," she teased. Then came the best little gift in the world. I know she was showing off everything she could do. A few minutes of teasing made me feel something unimaginable. Wendy tried to ignore it, but every now and then she looked away and then looked away. Wendy looked back and tears rolled down her cheeks. She looked up at me and I looked into her eyes again before, closing my eyes for a moment, as Kelly proved everything she had said earlier. My wife started to get out of bed and I pounced on her. "No, you stay here, watch, just like you wanted." She sat back down on the bed and crawled over to me. "I never wanted this. I swear, you asked for it, not me." "No, I told you that doing things behind my back that you wouldn't do in front of me is treason. Don't you understand?" She wiped her face. "Please stop punishing me," she whispered. I reached out and pulled her to me, cradling her against me and her head against my chest. I tilted my head to the side to watch Kelly give me pleasure. It took longer than I thought it would. Wendy stopped crying and put her head on my shoulder, no longer pretending not to watch what was happening. I put my arms around her. Whenever I started to approach, Kelly would look at me with a smile. "Nope, not handsome yet," she teased. Then she would pull away. "You're killing me, cutie," I said when she did it for the third time. We did it for almost 30 minutes. Half an hour of incredible pleasure. "I promise you won't die from it," she laughed. "Shit," said I. She pulled away with a loud pop and grinned. "Do you know what you have to do if you complete our game?" "Please, Kelly," I said breathlessly. She gave me a brief pause. "Not good enough," she chuckled. "Finish him off." Wendy said softly, "Please." "Kelly," I said loudly. She looked at me. She raised her eyebrows inquiringly. "I'm begging." That's all she was looking for. I thrust toward her, feeling the need peaking. "God, that feels so good," I said, and unloaded. I felt Wendy's fingers digging into my skin and looked up at her. She hummed to Kelly, climbing up. Wendy turned away, and I felt her shivering. Kelly lay on top of me, resting her head on my shoulder opposite Wendy. I wrapped my arm around her. "Thank you, that was amazing." I reached down and touched her. "No," Wendy shrieked. "Don't touch her like that." She was right, and I moved my hand to Kelly's waist. "You're right. I'm sorry, baby. It was too much," I said. Kelly called out quietly, and I realized she was still holding her surprise. She turned her head and looked at me, pouting. "Do you have one?" "God, you're as bad as she is," I laughed. Wendy slapped my stomach. "Bad? You like it," she said. Her voice lowered. "I thought you liked my little gifts." "Yes, until you started handing them out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry." She kissed me. "I'm sorry, John. I didn't know. I swear I'll never do it again." "Why?" I asked. "Because I hate it. What it did to us. Separated us. I never meant for any of this to happen." "I love you, baby. I know you love me, despite all of this." Kelly surprised the hell out of me, and I'm sure Wendy did too when she hit my wife. "Stop lying, you stupid fool, if you want him back." Wendy sat up, shocked, and reached for me, clawing at my toy. I sat down between them, keeping them at a distance, and I turned a little crimson myself. "Stop!" I shouted, pushing them away from each other. They calmed down for a second, and I turned to face Kelly. "Don't you dare hit my wife again." "She's lying to you. She knows it's wrong. She's a cheater and she knows it." "You deserve so much better than that," Kelly yelled. "I'm not the one who cheated. I never took anyone to my bed. I've never done anything like that," Wendy yelled back. I turned to Wendy, who still didn't understand anything. How could she be so fat? Never let anyone play with you like that? I must have watched some other girl dance at last year's Christmas party. Some other fool with Dave's hands touching her butt was dancing to our song. Wendy sighed. This is different, John. I was drunk, and we were just dancing. I already told you I'm sorry about that. Funny, but Misty seemed like you were having a good time on the dance floor, and you looked like you were enjoying it. It's not my fault they're all getting like this. There's nothing I can do about it, she snapped back. Why are you bringing it up now? Then I listened to your excuses and accepted your apology. Now I can't help but wonder if you cheated on me. How can you say that? I've never cheated on you. Not once. We made love all that weekend. We conceived Ginny after that party, she exclaimed. You had a baby that weekend. Is Jeannie even mine? Did you have her with Dave or one of your other so attentive partners? Did you bring me home a sloppy second? Now I'm curious. I'm curious about everything. Your behavior at the pool party when you're 6 months pregnant. What you do during the day when I'm at work. Who you give little gifts to. Who you rub up against. Who else touches that amazing ass that only I should have? How long you've been a faithful cheater. I guess I'll always wonder that now. She looked like she'd been slapped in the face. How could you say something like that? Anything at all. I'm not a cheat. Do you really hate me so much now? I don't hate you. It would be so much easier if I did. I love you heart and soul. I've loved you for 6 years since our first date. You've ruined all my love for you with Tom, Aaron, Jared, and who the hell else. You ripped my fucking heart out and danced on it in those 4-inch heels for $300 that you just had to have. She cried softly. Never, John. I've never cheated. I've never done anything like that to anyone but those 3. The stroking and touching was just flirting, like everyone else does. I don't want to. My wife is enough for me. Or at least she was. But their wives aren't enough for them, she said. You get my point. They have to settle for second class. Of course they're jealous. They only get a shadow of what you get every day. One hint of a drunken night. Their wives even thank me for teasing them. We're not the only ones who kill their brains after partying. They go home to their second-class wives, and you get me. Kelly laughed. I think I'm going to be sick. Do you really want to stay married to that vain cheater? Trust me, she's a loser. You did the right thing to track me down. You don't have to... She looked at Wendy with obvious disgust. This. I love her. I love her. Sad, isn't it? Kelly only shook her head. Wendy, why don't you go to the guest room? We can talk about it in the morning, I told her. She looked stunned. You want me to leave? This is my bed. I took her hand in mine. I didn't want to hurt you anymore. I didn't think you'd want to be here with us. We? You're gonna leave her in our bed and send me away? Yes, I'll leave her here. She'll lay on top of me again, then we'll sleep. And in the morning, she'll give me a little present before I make us breakfast. Why? She asked pitifully. Because I want to stay true to myself for a little while longer. I promise I won't do anything else with her, and I'll try to keep my hands off her little ass. Kelly giggled. Do you like my little ass? I didn't even turn to her. Please, Kelly, you're not helping. She cheated on you, John. Under her rules, you can do a lot more all night long. You'll love it, and so will I. No kids, so it's not cheating, right? Wendy snapped back. You told her? About us? You told some cheap girl? You told all our friends about us. It's no big deal, right? Those are your words, not mine. I told my friend. She closed her eyes, lowering her head. I took her chin and lifted it, forcing her to look at me. She's not cheap, she's pretty expensive. $200 a visit, not counting the hefty tip she'll get. Don't forget our bet, Kelly teased. I won't. That would be a very, very significant tip. She chuckled. I told you so. I'm not leaving my bed, Wendy said. You do what you have to do. You're not going to chase me away so easily. I laid back on the bed, and Wendy snuggled up against me. The continuation is still off limits. I can't accept that. I can't. Kelly started to tease me really hard. It's not her rules, John. They're yours. Bought and paid for. I leaned over and slapped her. You're rotten. I don't do anything she doesn't do. Despite what she says. Not that I don't like that sort of thing. Wendy jabbed a finger at me. You can subdue mine, she teased. I laughed. Really? She shrugged. You're going to keep giving her the loads that should be mine. I don't mind getting something out of it. I reached down. She shoved my hand away, but not before I realized, Jesus, Wendy, you're dripping. She blushed. It's almost 3 in the morning. I've been watching her do this to you for ages. I can't help it. I don't think it's going to last, baby. I still believe we can make it right. I love you. I just don't think we're in character yet. Soon? Will it be over soon? Will you forgive me? Asked Wendy. Kelly stopped her demonstration. I forgave you. I forgave you last night. But we still have our problems to work out. You're not going to cheat on me after this, are you? Am I cheating on you? I asked. I prayed she would give me the right answer. But it could have been the last one I received from anyone but my wife. You know what I mean. You think it's cheating. Damn it. She was stubborn. I sighed. Kiss me, wife. She pressed her lips to mine, tentatively at first, then more and more passionately. Love me, John, Wendy whispered. Love only me. You don't need her. I don't need her, but damn, she's good, I whispered. Better than me? Asked Wendy uncertainly. I didn't answer. Oh, God, John, you have to stop. You have to. Please. It's just a little gift, baby. I love you, I said. Kelly seemed to be paying attention. Best damn little gift you've ever given or will ever give, and you know it. Do it, honey. And yes, you are giving an incredible little gift. The best? She teased. All right, damn it. You're the best. Now finish this stupid game. Don't drag it out and make me beg. It's too late. She pulled away, laughing. Great. My jaw is tired as hell anyway. You've got some serious stamina. Can you hold on like that when you're doing more? You have no idea, Wendy said. There's only one stupid fool in this bed, she snarled. God, maybe it's a good thing I didn't let you in, Kelly said. Wendy rubbed her head against my shoulder. How could you say that? She whispered. How could you say she's better than me? How could you let 3 other men do that to you? I asked. I told you they were nothing. A couple minutes, and that was it. Are any of them bigger than me? Is that what you wanted? Is that your problem? I would never want to do that, John. It's no fun. Answer the question, Wendy. No, it's not about size. I don't want you to think that. I just like it. They had one. They used to torment me. You didn't want it anymore. You only wanted more. Their constant entreaties and too much drinking eventually made me give in. But I stopped there. I swear, John, nothing but a little gift. I want to believe you didn't do anything else. But it was already too much. She snorted. I was afraid she was going to start crying again. Then I was distracted by Kelly again. The girl was insatiable. Who was the first? Who made you give in? I asked my wife. Kelly snorted and chuckled. That was a very bad pun, lover. Don't make me laugh. I tried not to smirk. Who, Wendy? She was silent for a few seconds. Tom. It was Tom. He never got any little gifts, and he kept hitting on me and hitting on me. She hugged me. I'm so sorry. I knew it was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I didn't think it was such a big deal, and I was sure you'd never know. I thought it was just a little gift, not exactly cheating. I would never do anything more than that. I'm so sorry. I wanted to talk about it. I did. I think she was finally starting to understand. But I couldn't while Kelly was doing what she was doing. I pulled Wendy's head back so I could focus on what Kelly was doing. My naughty buddy looked up at me. It's getting close, isn't it, lover? I nodded. Okay, let me, she said. Wendy bit my shoulder hard. I hate this, she whispered. I know, I sighed. I hate what you did. Finish that game, damn you. It's almost 4 in the morning, Wendy snapped at her. I'm getting close, I told her. That's all Kelly needed to hear. She set to work, and within a minute, I had completed that round. She leaned over to Wendy. Very slowly, she brought her mouth closer to my wife's mouth. Wendy pulled away a little, and then stopped pulling back, allowing Kelly to meet her. Jesus, if they kept this up, I would have to get off again. Kelly pulled away and took my hand off her ass. Be smart. Wendy held out her hand to Kelly. Thank you, Kelly nodded, and I saw her eyes grow moist. That's for admitting you knew it was wrong. It's yours, not mine. I would never cheat on him. She hopped off the bed and gave me a quick kiss on the lips. I need to go to the bathroom and I could use a snack. Is that okay with you? Knock yourself out and thank you, I told her. She grinned. Weirdest night ever. Can I get you anything? Water, Wendy and I said at the same time. Kelly laughed. God, you guys sound like an old married couple. She winked at us and disappeared down the hall. Wendy poked me with her finger. God, I want to hate her. Where the hell did you find her? Downtown, 11th and L. You were looking for her on purpose? No. I drove through the neighborhood. I didn't plan or expect it. Even after she got in my car, I think I just wanted to talk. She offered me a little gift for $20, and that got me thinking. Did you do this? Not until we got here. To punish me? She asked sadly. No, to make you realize that the little gift was more than you thought. It was devastating to me. I know. You fucking ripped my heart out today, motherfucker. I didn't do it to hurt you. I need things to be okay between us, I explained. I understand. It's cheating. I understand. Don't you believe that I really didn't think I was cheating on you? I kissed her. Finally. Maybe she understood. I understand. But that doesn't make it right. You hurt me. The worst thing I've ever done in my life. I know that now. I'll make it up to you, I swear. I'm yours, John, if you want me. Always. She hugged me tightly, resting her head against my neck. I'll never let you go, baby. I love you too much. That's why it hurts so much. She nodded. Everything okay now? There was concern in her voice. Better. But we still have to get it right. Right? How? Aaron, Jared, and Tom. Especially Tom, he has to pay. Don't do anything stupid, honey. Please, it's not worth it, she whined. Besides, they're our friends. Stop saying that. Once they did that, they became enemies, not friends. If you want to stay friends with them, that's fine. You can move in with them and do it with them all you want. Wendy pulled away from me, finally having the good sense to shut up. Every time I thought things were getting better, she started talking again. Kelly walked into the room, holding a water bottle in one hand and an unfinished sandwich in the other. She tossed the 2 bottles on the bed, did a cute little spin, and practically danced her way to the bathroom. How much are we paying her? Asked Wendy. I haven't decided yet. I've already given her $200. It's pretty cheap. I wouldn't sell my little gifts for $100 apiece, even if they're not as good as hers. Don't say that. I love your little gifts, and since they're yours, they'll always be better than anyone else's, I told her, furtively kissing her. How much would you pay my husband? She teased. I was still feeling a little pissed off. Let's see, I've gotten 2 small gifts in the last month. You know, it costs a lot to maintain you. Half the household expenses, your car, insurance, shopping, hair care, mani-pedis, meals. God, you must cost me $6,000 a month. $3,000 for small gifts, that's what I'm paying. Even without the house, it's gotta be at least $1,500. Damn, I didn't realize your little gifts were so damn expensive. Kelly really is a bargain. Wendy slapped me just as Kelly came back into the room. Should I leave? The little girl asked uncertainly. I patted the bed beside me. I need you to be there for me until morning, Angel. Kelly smirked and jumped on the bed, nearly knocking Wendy off of it. You guys are better when you're not fighting. She snuggled up to me and kissed my cheek. Do you realize how lucky you are, you silly fool? Yeah, and could you please put your pants on? He's only a man, and I don't want you to accidentally end up in him at night. I can't believe he'd resist you. You realize that's not fair, right? He will resist me forever. He doesn't love me. I should be so happy. Still, she slid off the bed and put her pants back on. Wendy sighed. As if that solves anything. She stood up and, digging through a drawer, pulled out a sealed package. She tossed it across the room. Brand new. God, it's like I'm back in middle school, she muttered, adjusting them. Is that what you're wearing for him? No wonder he came after me. Turn out the light, Angel, and go to bed, I said. She flicked the switch, and I felt her pressed against me. I was exhausted and happier than I should have been after what my wife had done. I pulled both women against me and tried to sleep. Soon I felt Kelly's slender body shudder and felt her tears on my shoulder. Shh, I whispered, hugging her tightly. Thank you for tonight, she whispered. I'd almost forgotten how good it felt to be normal. Wendy's body shook, and I could hear her quiet sobs that she tried to suppress. God, 2 women crying, just what I needed. It's okay, baby, I whispered, not realizing to whom I was addressing myself. I woke up, it was still dark outside. I experienced an incredible sensation of something warm. I slowly came to my senses, savoring the sensation. I felt a body pressed against my side and an arm across my chest. Kelly snuggled against me in her sleep. That feels good, honey, I murmured. That wonderful feeling stopped. Not bad? Not the best? You're always the best. Love changes everything. This is my buddy John. I don't want you to give him to anyone else. And those are my lips, baby. I don't want anyone else kissing them. I won't. Never again, I swear, she said. Are you going to stop? Just a little more, and I'll stop. She touched me hard. No, you have to stop now. It felt so good, but now she was pissing me off. I leaned over and took her hand away. You can't make decisions like that anymore. You're the one who decided that a little gift wasn't cheating. I said I was sorry. 5 little gifts, as far as I'm concerned, Wendy. 5, from 3 different men. Do you want me to find 2 more women who will do similar to me? Maybe their wives will. I'm sure they'll be angry enough. No, baby, I don't want anyone else but me to do that to you. I paid for Kelly, and I will utilize her talent until I am completely satisfied. Do you understand? No, I won't let you. It's not fair. You've been doing this behind my back for weeks with different men who have already managed to tell everyone they know about it. That's not fair. How about this? I'll find out how many people know about it, and I'll get another gift from Kelly for each one. Isn't that fair? I don't want to fight. If you love me, you'll stop. I can't stand it. Why do you have to humiliate me? Humiliate you? No one can know what's going on this weekend. No one will look at you, laugh behind your back, because they know I cheated on you. You won't have to deal with that, but I will. Damn it, Wendy. Some of these people work with me. How can I act normal with them if they know I wasn't good enough for you? That you cheated on me? No, baby. It's not like that. It isn't. They know I won't cheat on you, no matter how hard they try. And they tried. Are we back to thinking that a small gift isn't cheating? That it's nothing more than that? She fell silent. Go to sleep, Wendy. Just leave me alone. And go to sleep. I rolled over and turned my back to her, taking Kelly in my arms and cradling her soft, fragile body against mine. I could hear my wife crying before I dozed off again, but I didn't feel much sympathy for her. She still didn't understand. Didn't understand how she had ruined our lives. I woke up and the room was bright, the light pouring in. I curled up around my Kelly, snuggling against her. My hand was tugged, and I looked over my shoulder. My wife was tugging on my arm. Give me a hug, John. Give your wife a hug, please. I'm scared. I loosened my grip on our guest and turned to Wendy. She rolled onto her side, and I pressed myself against her. I put my arms around her, and she pressed herself against me. I love you, baby. You did everything you could to ruin our life, but I still love you, I whispered, kissing her soft shoulder. Just this weekend and it'll all be over, won't it? She whispered. I hope so. What does that mean? She asked nervously. When you understand the problem, what you've done, what the consequences are, why it's so terrible, then it will be over. I hope that happens before the weekend is over. I understand. I hurt you. And I'm sorry. Shh. Don't. Not yet. Go to bed and we'll talk about it later, okay? She nodded and squeezed my hand even tighter. I closed my eyes, trying not to think about our problems. After a while, I felt a body pressed against my back and a small, skinny arm around me. It felt good to be between them. I relaxed, thinking about what I was going to make for breakfast. I woke up alone, and someone was tugging on my leg. I opened my eyes and sat up, seeing my wife and Kelly at the foot of the bed. Wendy looked upset, and Kelly looked even angrier. Kelly had her hand on my leg and was shaking it. I sat up and looked at them. What's going on? Kelly glanced at my wife. She said you don't want any more little gifts, that you want me to leave. She tried to give me $500 and wants to call a cab. Is that true? Why didn't you tell me that yourself? Because she's lying, Angel, I explained grumpily. We both know she's a liar, but don't hold it against her. She feels threatened. She realizes now that the little gift is cheating, but she still won't accept what it means for our marriage. John, snapped Wendy. How can you say that? How can you call me a liar? I laughed. You lied. That's how. I never lied to you. She needs to go, that's all. No, she has to do her work to me now. I've got a great case of morning wood that needs tending. Kelly smirked, pulling off her underwear. I'm not going to wear fat-ass lying fool's clothes. She jumped onto the bed, pulling the covers off me and pounced on me. Wendy walked around the bed and sat down next to me. Maybe that's enough? I understand now. I understand. No, lying doesn't help either. Let me be with you, not her. You could have done that to me last night, but you decided to make your demands and leave me hanging. I don't want that to happen again. Besides, when was the last time you woke me up with a little gift as eagerly as this sweet girl? Don't say that. You know I've always loved it. Hell, I'm the only wife you know who gives her husband as many little gifts as you do. When? When was the last time that happened? I don't deny that what we had was wonderful, but you somehow changed and gave them to everyone but me. When was the last time you were such an initiator? I nodded toward my morning queen. 3 weeks ago. You said so yourself. No. I was the initiator. When, baby? She shook her head. I don't know. It's almost 6 weeks now. When was the first time you gave a little gift to Tom? She hesitated. 5 weeks ago, she said quietly. 5 weeks ago where? When? She lowered her head. Our barbecue. Jesus, Wendy. In our house? In front of everyone here? You're so fucking stupid. How could you? I was drunk. He followed me into the garage, begging me. It didn't seem like such a big deal. A few minutes and I'd be his first. It sounds so stupid now. I'm sorry. That makes sense. You don't need me anymore. I don't need you now. So let me enjoy this. If you don't stop this right now, I'm going to go find someone who wants my little gift, she muttered angrily. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Kelly costs less, and as long as she's on the payroll, I know she's mine and mine alone. We both realized you didn't care about our marriage as soon as you let Tom do what he did. Of course I care about our marriage. You're the father of our child. You keep talking. I'll believe you when I see the DNA report. You've already proven yourself to be both a fraud and a liar. How can I believe you? Wendy turned and yelled at Kelly. Would you please stop doing that while we're having a family conversation, you dirty little fool? No way. He said I could. And as long as he's distracted, he won't come. I can do this for hours. You guys have fun. She chuckled and continued. Make her stop, John. Just now, please, while we talk. I told you we'd talk this afternoon. Let me finish my business in peace, and we can talk about it over brunch, okay? She rose angrily. When did you become such an asshole? When I found out I had a lying, cheating fool as a wife. Don't you remember, dear? She sprinted out of the room. Kelly giggled and started twisting around on the bed until she was on top of my head. He's yours, lover. Bought and paid for. All cleaned up. No one's been there for days. Anything more than that is not cheating. Remember? Perhaps it was wrong, but it was my wife who insisted that anything more was not cheating. And I had to admit that Kelly had the most beautiful face. It was hard to believe she belonged on the street. I began to play with her. She smelled nice, and I leaned my head forward. I hadn't done something like this with anyone but my wife in at least 6 years. After a few minutes, I was already doing everything like my life depended on it. I was getting close to her, feeling proud. I felt her stop moving. God, love, I'm almost there, she whispered. She made the sweetest sounds. She squealed. Dear viewers, we are approaching the finale of the second part of this intricate exploratory story about human relationships, the ambivalence of feelings and actions, and the thin line between betrayal and forgiveness. In this gripping excerpt, we see the protagonist struggling with his emotions and trying to make sense of his wife's feelings and motivations. What does it really mean to be faithful? Where is the boundary of personal space in a relationship? And how far can you go before you put an end to everything? Our protagonist, John, is faced with a difficult dilemma: reconcile with his wife's infidelity or take control of the situation. But as he struggles to cope with his emotional crisis, we begin to understand the complexity and sincerity of his feelings, making the outcome even more unpredictable. Don't miss the opportunity to immerse yourself in the continuation of this epic full of unexpected twists and turns, heartaches, and the search for true love. The third part of the story promises to be even more exciting and full of drama. We remind you that the full uncensored version of the second part is already available on our Patreon. Join us to find out how the events will develop further and feel the whole range of feelings together with the characters of this difficult story.